Hello, today I'm going to talk about quantum religion. Back in the great 17.8-B century level 65 fire type HP 100, dimension 3, or dimension 1, or it depends on what dimension you're thinking of, Longbread Johnson stated in his Helix address to the universe, "No more racism, no more poverty." And this awakened the Quantum Father. The Quantum Father is a quantum entity he has an exponential amount of power. At this moment, his power is still continuously, exponentially growing. And the Quantum Father's name is OK. That's an O and then a K. And the Quantum Father has three quantum children, which are called the three quantum siblings. They are born in this order: Shoot, Tense, and Brother. Now, Shoot is the deity of pain. Tense is the deity of nobody really cares about that one. Brother is the deity of Void. He's the second deity of Void, with Quantum Father being the main deity of Void and all quantum mechanics. Now, speaking of Brother and Void, when Longbread Johnson made his statement to the universe, "No more racism, no more poverty," dash A, B, remember level 65, HP 100, whatever dimension, depends. Gento, as the Spanish say, but in most places is regarded as Gento, the fascist leader, summoned Delta Void. Now, Delta Void is in an essence, it's the theorem to measure a change in void, as in physics, delta K would be to measure a change in kinetic energy. However, in this instance, delta void can also be physical nature. And there is specific levels of void that I will get into. Now, how this relates to Longbread Johnson is when Longbread Johnson made his statement, it awakened Shoot, who is the deity of pain or sorrow. One of the things I forgot, it's unclear. It depends on what dimension you are in, but there's a certain move that it always sticks to. And Shoot reacted. He was like, "Oh, this is very interesting, because this could destroy me, So then the Quantum Father awakened because of Shoot's awakening. So did the others, and Gento, he did not like what Longbread Johnson had to say, so he went to search for the Great Void Entity, also known as Greg. Now, let's get into the levels of Void. Void is measured at a 45-degree angle. Void energy is 1/2 times amount of levels of Void times delta Void. 1/2 because cosine 45 degrees is 1/2. However, in some dimensions, it can vary, so if you want to be specific to all dimensions, do measure of Void, how many levels, and I'll get to that, times delta Void, which is the change in Void, times cosine theta, which is the angle, the degree. Anyway, so let's get into the levels of Void. The first level of Void is Society. Society is visible to the eye. There are void creatures in Society, but most of the time you won't see them around. Then there is the Dreamscape. In most scenarios, that is only visible to the mind. Then the next level is Public Void. This is where you get the void creatures. This is where you get all your stereotypical void history, those images that you see about those weird things in alleyways and sewers and stuff. Then you go to P-Void, which is abbreviation for Private Void. This is where minor deities will be hanging around. Possibly this is where you could find one of Tense's children, like Helix. Remember Longbread Johnson? He made his Helix address, with Helix to the universe. After P-Void, Private Void, is Density, which is a concept visible to the mind, just like Delta Void, Gento was trying to access the concept, which does have physical properties if your mind is exponentially developed enough. Excuse me. After density is S. There's not much known about S, except that level is actually 2 times larger than the other levels. Most other levels are about the same size. Then after that is Greg, and that is the Great Void entity. So Gento tried to awaken this entity, and while doing that, he created the Gento Empire under Gento Law to try and awaken this entity. And that's where we're going to stop this lesson for now. I hope you learned something, and in the next chapter we will go over